Hello and welcome to the GrandeSportsCenter, the Monday morning edition. It was a very beautiful weekend and a lot happened in the world of sports, and we're here to save you all those juicy stories, especially in football and of course developments concerning the boxing, the upcoming match between Anthony Joshua and uh, Kublat Pulev. Well, on the program today, let me quickly give you the lineup. We have stories from the Flying Eagles, the AFCON 2020 under 20 AFCON WAFUB qualifiers taking place in Benin. The Flying Eagles got the competition started yesterday, and they were held to a 1-1 draw by Cote d'Ivoire. We shall be talking about that match. So many fallout because the coach is citing lack of concentration as the reason why the Flying Eagles capitulated. They didn't actually capitulated, but they scored first and they conceded in the 90th minute. And many thought that they would have been able to hold on to that 1-goal lead to win that match. Well, we shall be talking about that. Eyimba and Rivers United have done Nigeria proud. They've qualified for the next round of the various CAF competitions, and that means Plateau United and Kano Pillars have been eliminated. We shall be taking a review of the CAF competitions, especially the matches that were played over the weekend. We have European League matches that were played across Europe in the big major leagues of England, Spain, Italy. We shall be doing a review of those matches. And in boxing, like I said earlier, Anthony Joshua, he said he is willing to take a pay cut in order to fight Tyson Fury next year. You know, he has a fight against Kubrat Pulev on the 12th of December, but he's already looking ahead to the bigger one, which is the fight against Tyson Fury. And he says he will do what it takes to get Tyson Fury in the ring, even if it means taking a pay cut. He actually wants to have the fight in UK, and he said there's nothing he would not do to ensure that that fight takes place. We'll talk about that. And of course, in Formula One, Lewis Hamilton for the first time did not win a race. This is because he wasn't in the field for the Sakhir Grand Prix in Bahrain. As you can remember, he tested positive for coronavirus sometime last week, so he's on isolation. In this place was the young British driver Russell, but then he was not able to help Mercedes carry the day this time around. The winner was Sergio Perez, and for Mercedes they had some little issues, technical issues that affected both Russell and Valtteri Bottas, and that's why Mercedes for the first time in recent times were not at the podium at the Sakhir Grand Prix. But as you know, Lewis Hamilton has already rounded up his championship. He's already the champion of the year, but this was just part of fulfilling the calendar for the Formula One race. Also, another big news in Formula One: the son of legendary Michael Schumacher, will be in Formula One next year. So which means Formula One is going to see another Schumacher again. Well, what does this hold for the sport? We shall be talking about that. And in athletics, the Kenyans are in the news. The world half marathon record was broken in Valencia at the weekend by Kenya's Kibiwot Kandi. So we shall be talking about that as well. And if time permits, we shall be looking at wheelchair tennis, something different for today. Wheelchair tennis, and the 11-time Grand Slam champion in that sport, and the Lapton of Britain is talking about the issue of discrimination in the sport. What is this talking about? We shall be taking a look at it on the program. Plus, the usual Super Eagles watch, where we keep a close tab on performance of Super Eagles players in Europe and today in sports history. These are more for you on the GrandeSportsCenter. Sit back and enjoy yourself with us. I am Donald Agbabobo. I'm joined as usual by Austin Arume.
A pleasure to be around.
And Blessing Basil.
It's good to be here.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we go straight to the main issues of the day. Welcome back to the GrandeSportsCenter, and straight to the under 20 AFCON WAFUB qualifiers taking place in Benin. The Flying Eagles, like you know already, we said it earlier, they were held to a 1-1 draw in the first match on Sunday by Cote d'Ivoire. And looking at the way the team left for Benin, They were supposed to leave on Friday. They had flight issues. They eventually made it to Benin in time for the match against Cote d'Ivoire. Could we say that this was a fair result for the Flying Eagles?
I would say it was a fair result, considering they had time to prepare, though, but they did not play that kind of friendly match that you say will prepare a team for a competition like this. Considering they're playing against academic sides and all that, and even in that match they had their chances. Not like they did not have the chance to score, but then they were wasteful. But you forgive them. This is the fact that based on the fact that they are playing their first competitive match for a very long time, and this team, they've been together though, but they've not played this kind of match together before, so you will excuse them. And considering the fact that towards the end of the game they also got a red card towards the game, a 1-1 draw against an Elephant side is actually a fair result if you ask me.
And also considering the fact that the league has not started in Nigeria, and most of these players were drawn from Nigerian club side, so we could actually be saying that commending the Flying Eagles rather than having cause for worry.
Yeah, their performance against Cote d'Ivoire was not convincing enough, but due to the fact that the league had not started, if the league had started earlier, it would have warranted them to at least perform, better in that game. They had opportunities, but although missed. But like Austin said, this is just a start. We'll give them, another opportunity to see how much they perform in the competition.
Yeah, yes, indeed, and that opportunity will come on Wednesday when they take on perennial rivals, Black Satellite of Ghana. Yeah. Well, Nigeria, Ghana, any match at any level is always a cracker. Could we say that the Flying Eagles has actually missed an opportunity to be on the driving seat because now they'll be under pressure against Ghana?
Yeah, but then they showed enough in the match against Ivory Coast, to suggest that they might have a chance against the Ghanaian side. If in your first competitive match after a long while, you played against Ivory Coast, and then they had chances, and it was all in that game. So I believe with time, this performance against Ivory Coast will give them time to assess their performance. So going forward now, I believe they have a chance against Ghana. But then 1-1 draw against Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast at one point in time were rivals as well. There was a time during the era of the Drogba where finding it hard to beat Ivory Coast. But then the Ivorian league is as strong as the Nigerian league. Likewise, the Ghanaian league. So bunch of these players are drawn from the local league. So I believe it's going to be a tough one. But then with the caliber of players in the Flying Eagles squad, I think they can get all 3 points.
And now the coach was talking about lack of concentration, citing lack of concentration as reason why the team actually considered late in the match. It will be it's not too. One wonders why this issue of lack of concentration was not taken note of before the competition. But then we also understand the situation. The Nigerian league has not been operating. They actually played very competitive matches. But is this a situation where, with every match, the coach will begin to now understand this team better, identify the lapses? Is this a competition where we're going to see the coach? Is this coach going to serve more like a learning curve for the coach, and also while at the same time wanting to get the results that will see us qualify?
Well, the thing with football in Nigeria is really, really unexplainable most times, because when it comes to, important events like this, there is need for, proper preparation ahead of time. If there was a proper preparation ahead of time, and the fact that the league is on, it won't have brought out all these issues, and the Flying Eagles won't have, underperformed in that game. They would have at least created more opportunities. These are youngsters. These are young people you can easily talk to, to go out there and perform better. Why not?
Well, we wish the Flying Eagles good luck in the next match against Ghana. In the other group, we had host Benin going down 1-0 to Niger Republic, while Togo and Burkina Faso played out a 1-1 draw. So that's the situation of things as regards the under 20 AFCON WAFU B qualifiers. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk continental football, talking about African competitions in the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup, especially as it has to do with Nigeria's representatives. Welcome back to the GrandeSportsCenter. I'm moving on. Two of Nigeria's representatives in CAF competitions have qualified for the next round. Talking about Eyimba Faba that beat Raimo 2-1 on aggregate. They won the first leg 1-0 away in Ouagadougou, and this weekend in Aba they were held to 1-1 draw by Raimo. So they won that match 2-1 on aggregate. The other team that did well was Rivers United in the CAF Confederations Cup. They actually added the hard way. They made it the hard way, as they also won 2-1. They lost 2-1 to Faturo Kings in Equatorial Guinea, and also won 2-1 here. So the match ended 3-3 on aggregate, and they had to go into penalties, and Rivers United triumphed by 2-0. But it was not such a good outing for Nigeria's other two representatives. CAF Canopilas in the CAF Champions League, in the CAF Confederations Cup, and Plateau United in the CAF Champions League, as they were eliminated. Well, Austin, for Eyimba, they won away, and we thought it was already done and dusted, but we didn't actually see them having to do it the hard way, because I could imagine at 1-1, a goal by Raimo would have actually tilted the scale in their favor.
Yeah, I believe so. But then they held on. I always knew it was not going to be an easy game for Eyimba. You know, losing at home in the first leg, I knew Raimo would not come to Nigeria to come and sleep or concede defeat. So it was actually a fight. They gave it a fight, and it was a tough game. And I'm happy that Eyimba, at the end of the day, they were able to scale through. So far, so good. It's actually a good result considering they've qualified. So let's give them that benefit of doubt. From now on, I believe they should be able to assess one or two weaknesses where they have to improve on. So I give kudos to Eyimba for qualifying for the next round of the CAF Champions League.
And Nigeria's other team in the competition, Plateau United, were not as lucky. They lost at home in the first leg to Simba of Tanzania. Then in the second leg in Tanzania, they played a 0-0 draw. A very good result. Not never say very, but at least they were able to save face. They didn't lose in the away leg, which means that maybe with some little effort in the first leg, probably they would have been talking about a different story. But then, going to the second leg match, despite losing at home, they were very optimistic of being able to turn the table. But then we saw what happened over the weekend. Was this match, to be fair, if we have to be fair, can we say that this match was already done and dusted after the first leg match when they lost at home?
Of course, it was done and dusted after the first leg match. That's the reason why in a competitive football like this, where you have to play first leg and the second leg, you have to do pretty well in the first leg, just so it doesn't affect you in the second leg. If Plateau United, they had the home advantage, if they had at least won that game, it would have given them an upper edge, although they tried away. But at the same time, if they had done better in Jos, it would have given them an upper edge. But this is a team that didn't even go to the group stage. It's just a preliminary round, and it's not really talking good for them.
Yes, indeed, it's not really talking good for them, not really talking good for Nigerian football. But then in the Confederations Cup, we had Rivers United qualify for the next round, though it was also another nervy one. After losing 2-1 to Faturo King in Equatorial Guinea, we all knew that they just needed one goal to qualify, but they got 2 goals, but they were pegged back once, so that match ended 2-1. So it was like both legs ended 2-1, 2-1, 3-3 on aggregate. They had to go to penalties, but the Rivers United really have to win this match on penalties. After when they scored at least they scored an away goal, we saw it as making it easier in the second leg. But did you ever see this match going to penalties?
I didn't actually see it that way. I always thought that Rivers United, they're a strong team, good management system. They have a good coach. Coach Stanley Oguma is a good coach. Is well known in as far as Nigerian football is concerned, the Nigerian terrain. But then when you look at the game, we all know how tough the Petro King side can be. They defeated Rivers United at home, and then coming to Nigeria now, they had to dig out that result. Rivers United started very well as Godwin Aguma, he scored in the 12th minute, and then Samson Kennedy scored in the 38th minute, which means they started like a house on fire. But then this is how football is. When you tend to score, when you score a goal, you tend to relax a bit, and then you see your opponent coming at you. So I believe that was what actually happened in this game. So in the 52nd minute, I think Raimo scored a goal through Pedro Oba. It was actually a tough counter, but then Rivers United, they were able to hold their own, and then they won via penalty. It's a good one, but then they need to improve moving into the next round of the game.
And of course, the other team in the competition, Kano Pillars, were eliminated. And but then they had suffered a 3-1 loss in the first leg against ASC Charaf of Senegal. And going to the second leg, it was a very big task for them to upturn the table, and somehow they just could not do that. The match ended 0-0 in Kano Pillars. The first leg match was as good as telling us that this match was over, right?
Of course, you can't expect a miracle based on what happened. The truth of the matter is, like I said earlier, this is as a result of lack of preparation beforehand. If they had prepared pretty well, they just brought him a coach that a foreign coach few weeks before the major competitions like this. What do you expect to happen? This is a coach that doesn't actually know the player too well, and the fact that he had to just listen to instructions from, or listen to talks from different people, and the fact that he had to watch various videos of the players. That's not enough enough reason. If there was enough
that issue of the coach is very interesting, because it was brought in specifically for the purpose of the continental competition, in fulfillment of CAF rules that every club playing in continental competition in Africa must be coached by someone with a CAF B coaching license. So that was why they had to go for him. So with the elimination from the CAF competitions, are we still going to see the coach in charge of Kano Pillars, or he has actually sacked himself already?
Well, I believe there should be an opportunity for him to be at Kano Pillars to understand the team better, for future purposes.
Well, it's a tale of 2 wins, 2 losses for Nigerian teams. Not a bad one. 50-50, yeah. 2 teams qualified, 2 teams eliminated. Not as bad as some years where we've had Nigerian teams basically not going to the next round. They are still not yet in the group stage. We have match they just qualified for the next round of the preliminaries. So after this next stage, we'll now get to the group stage. So they still have one more hurdle to climb. But then Austin and Blessing have actually pointed out the issue of Nigerian teams not competitive. It's the Nigerian league, the effect of the Nigerian league not on now, being one of the factors that may have affected these teams. Austin, are we even looking at the Flying Eagles? The issue of the Nigerian league, Reddit said, because these players have not played competitive football for a long time. They've been in camp, though, playing against amateur teams, but you can't compare that to the real thing. Yeah. Look at Eyimba. After winning away, they came back, and then they struggled to win. Probably when the opponents up the tempo. Plateau United just could not get going. Kano Pillars suffered a very terrible loss in Senegal. Then Rivers United, after managing to score away, they came back home. They could not consolidate, but luckily they were able to pull through.
Yeah.
You know, these are matches that on a good day, and the Enyimba side that already won away should be able to just continue on that line. But then the effect of the Nigerian League not on is showing itself in the performance of Nigerian teams, both the Flying Eagles and teams on the continent.
Yeah, I think you cannot overstate the fact that the league not being on at this point in time is actually a disservice to the whole footballing activities in Nigeria, from the Flying Eagles, the Nigerian club sides, and a whole lot of things. So at this point in time, I just pray, if there's anything, let them sort it out fast so that we can have our league on again. Enyimba right now, I think they need all the preparation they can get to get ready for the next round, because it's going to get tougher as you progress into the next phase of the Champions League and Confederations Cup.
Yes, indeed. Talking about getting tougher, the next phase will see Enyimba take on El Merreikh. El Merreikh, if there's any memory I have of that team, was in 1989 in the African Cup of Winners when they played against Bender United in the finals, and they won. They won 1-0 in Sudan and came and played 0-0 in Benin. So they won that competition. So El Merreikh have been African champions before, so Enyimba should get themselves ready for a very stiff opposition. But again, another clear evidence of the fact that Nigerian League is not on, is affecting Nigerian teams, could be seen in the fact that in the next round of CAF Champions League matches, only Enyimba will be represented. But whereas we have the likes of Tunisia having 2 teams, the likes of Egypt having 2 teams, Ali and Zamalek, you will say, okay, fine, Egypt, we know them, they are very, very good. But what of Angola? Angola has 2 teams. We have Primeiro de Agosto and we have Petro Atletico. Then we have Democratic Republic of Congo. They have TP Mazembe. They have Vital Club of Congo. Morocco has Raja Casablanca, Wydad Casablanca. Even South Africa, they have Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs. So their country, they're having 2 teams in the next round. Nigeria is left with only Enyimba, and our possibility of making it to the group stage is now affected. But then, with a very good performance by Enyimba, Nigeria will still be represented at the group stage. So all this boils down to the fact that Nigerian teams are not playing at the topmost in condition at the moment because the league is not on, and we hope that all these issues will be addressed pending before the next round of matches in the African competitions. We shall take another break, and when we return, we'll go to Europe, talk about the league in the EPL, talk about the English League, the Italian Serie A, and the Spanish La Liga. We shall do that when we return from this break. Welcome back to the Grande Sports Center, and moving on, we go to England, where matches were played in the English Premier League over the weekend. Some very, very interesting results. Liverpool came back to winning ways with 4-0 spanking of Wolves. And of course, Tottenham maintained their lead at the top of the table with a 2-0 win over Arsenal. Talking about the North London derby. Leicester came back to winning ways as they beat Sheffield United 2-1, and West Bromwich Albion lost at home to Crystal Palace 5-1. That was the highest away win ever recorded by Crystal Palace, and it was due to the red card given to Pereira of West Brom in the course of the match. West Ham fell at home to Manchester United. Manchester United continued their resurgence. I think they are now fifth on the table. Manchester City beat Fulham 2-0, while Chelsea gave a glimpse of their championship credentials as they defeated Leeds United by 3-1. Austin, the Liverpool match against Wolves, everybody actually thought that Wolves would give Liverpool issues because they were playing a young goalkeeper in goal.
Yeah.
And but then, just like it did to Leicester, they practically just threw through Wolves. Have we seen Liverpool as retaining this league? Many people have actually doubted their ability because it's only Man City that has actually done that.
Yeah.
People are doubting Liverpool's ability to go all the way this time. What do you think?
I think you cannot underrate Liverpool at this point in time. This squad depth they have is beginning to show here. You know, not many teams will survive this onslaught. You know, they have up to 6 injuries, up to 6 injuries, and they are still performing like this.
Not just injuries, to top players.
Top players, not just injuries. We're talking about one of the best players in Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk, and his partner, Joe Gomez. Thiago Alcantara is still out. Then Oxlade-Chamberlain is still out. So I believe even Alisson, the goalkeeper, you know, Kelly had to stand in as a makeshift goalkeeper for pending the time Alisson is back. And I just,
and even their defensive pace, makeshift.
Yeah, it's makeshift.
Fabinho is a midfielder.
Yeah. So Fabinho yesterday, if you ask me, I think he should continue in that position. He was superb.
Van Dijk should be on the bench when he comes back.
I think he should play alongside Van Dijk or let them rotate. I believe he's doing a good job. But then I must commend the young goalkeeper, Kelleher. He has been outstanding. 2 matches, 2 clean sheets.
Clean sheets, well. So much about Liverpool. Arsenal is one team that is not having the best of times this period. Lost 6 matches already in the league, occupied the 15th position. This is not the kind of position I used to see in Arsenal. Their worst start to the league, the last since 1981. And when they sacked Unai Emery last year, we said they were not doing well. But their position at this point was still better. And with Mikel Arteta now, it's like it was. Arsenal, do you still see them bouncing back?
Well, I don't know what to say at this point, especially with their performance. You know, they are really not up to the task. Especially with Arteta in this team.
Is it an issue of the quality of players or the coaching now? They don't have the players to match the big teams in the league, or is just something just missing in terms of the coaching?
I think the coaching is part of it, and the quality of players. You know, I think they need quality players to.
They have Aubameyang is still there, but the way you don't create chances for him, he can't score. They have Thomas Partey that was brought in, but then he got injured, and that was actually led to the second goal. Then the defense line. Well, if Blessing is talking about lack of quality players, and a team like Leicester, one-on-one with the players Arsenal have, I don't think there's much difference. Yeah. But they're not doing badly. They lost to Liverpool. That is understandable. 3-0. Liverpool practically walks over most teams this time around. Yeah. But then they went to Sheffield United, a very difficult place to go. Bramall Lane, we know that Sheffield are apparently last on the table, but then the more reason why they are dangerous, because they need to get out of that place, and Bramall Lane is not an easy place to go. On the good day, they got a 2-1 result.
I think it's a good result, if you ask me, when you're playing against a team that is in search of a win. Sheffield United have not won a game all season. So at this point in time, they are very desperate. They want to win a game. And if you are playing against a team like that, you have to be very careful. So coming out with all 3 points in this game for Leicester, I think it's a good point for them. 3 points closer to the top. I think they're in the top 4 already. So it's a good result for Leicester City.
For Manchester City, they have come up. They beat Fulham 2-0, so they are now coming up. We're seeing them amongst the top 6 at the moment. We always knew that Manchester City would be there at the end of the day, to be there fighting for the title. But not much was talked about Chelsea. Chelsea, they said fine, they did some very good signing, but many people still thought that they would need 1 or 2 seasons for them to gel as a team. But they took everybody by surprise, and for some hours they were top of the league until Tottenham played Arsenal and won and returned to top of the league, and Liverpool played Wolves. So Chelsea are still within the top 4 at the moment. And do you see them actually challenging for the league title?
Yeah, I see Chelsea, challenging for the league title. This is especially with their, performance in recent times. They've been, doing very well. They've been, obviously putting in the goals, which is the most important thing. And so I see them.
Manchester United too. They have also come up too.
Yes. Manchester United have, I think they've been able to understand their players better and know which player to introduce at a particular time. The fact that Bruno Fernandes and have been doing much of a better. And
Cavani, since he came into, has also been helpful. But you don't believe that they've been actually helped by VAR in a way, the VAR decision, because a lot of them have actually gone in the way of Manchester United this season. Well, that's a topic for discussion on another day. Everton seems to have lost it after the good start. They won their first 3 matches, 9 points. They topped the league after some time. But recent time, they've been grinding out the results. So they went to Burnley Saturday, all the 1-1 draw. So Ancelotti, have we seen all he's got?
I would say welcome to reality for Everton. At this point in time, the league is now beginning to take shape. You see, before the end of this year, then by January you will see, the
separation of the boys from the men.
Exactly. So I'll just tell Ancelotti, welcome to reality.
Yes, indeed, and we'll go straight to where he's coming from, to Serie A. So maybe an understanding of what happens here in Serie A will give us an inkling into what Ancelotti is facing in the Premier League. In the Serie A, AC Milan are still holding sway. They went to Sampdoria at the weekend and won 2-1. That is the stuff champions are made of, Austin.
Yeah.
We go to both home and away, they are imperious. Even without Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I said it last week on the show when they won against Fiorentina. This week again, they have done it. Even though they lost in the Europa League, but then they continue to pull their weight in the league despite the absence of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It shows they are a strong team and they are resolute, at this point in time, to go back to the Champions League. It's been a long time since we saw AC Milan in the Champions League. I think we all miss them in the Champions League. We want to see them in the Champions League again.
And another team that we may have to watch out for is Napoli. They seem to have gotten over their initial setbacks, and they are playing well. They beat Crotone by 4-0, even without Victor Osimhen.
It's a good thing that Napoli is going back to winning ways, but at the same time, we expect the best from Napoli, judging by the fact that they are a good team, they have good quality players, and the fact that they have players who obviously makes the mark at the end of the day, and the fact that Victor Osimhen also puts in the goals for them. So.
Juventus is, after the initial slump, seems to be getting it right now. They beat Torino. They won. That's a Turin derby. They beat Torino 2-1. And are we still going to see Juventus in the mix when it comes to deciding who wins at the end of the day?
Yeah, as far as they keep Ronaldo fit. The statistics have shown that when Ronaldo is not there, that's when they drop point. That's when they tend to drop point. All the matches Ronaldo has played this season, Juventus have won. Then the one he did not play. That's the one they tend to drop point. And in this particular game, you know, it has proven itself. You know, they brought in McKennie, a young guy. He came in and he scored. And this Juve side, I think their problem is that they don't. It seems that they don't have. They're not used to the kind of pattern
that's the point. They are trying to get used to Andre Pirlo.
Yeah.
So probably we'll just give them this season to get adjusted, and maybe for next season we'll just see them firing.
Yeah.
Inter Milan is another team that is doing well. They won against Bologna by 3-1. Other results in Serie A: Hellas Verona won, Cagliari won, Parma and Benevento played a 0-0 draw. Roma grinded out a 0-0 draw against Sassuolo. Udinese's match against Atlanta was postponed because the pitch was waterlogged, and Spezia lost at home to Lazio by 2-1. So much about the Serie A. Quickly, we go to the La Liga, and for me, the biggest result was the 2-1 loss by Barcelona. Barcelona lost to Cadiz by 2-1. You know, they put up a good result. You think that they have finally gotten over the initial slump. They know they have to suffer another loss again, like they did on the weekend against Cadiz.
Yeah.
What could be happening to Barcelona?
I think the problem is still there, and it is showing. Even when they are winning with wide margin, you still see that problem. It's just that.
And what's that problem?
The problem now is that cohesion, lack of. I don't know if it's self-belief. Like it's like they don't believe that they are really that good as they used to be. So I think this thing is beginning to reflect on the team, and then the whole Messi saga. I think that that's part of the problem they're having right now. I think the future of Messi is not has not been sorted out, and I think there's a kind of dark cloud around Barcelona right now.
And Messi is not playing at his best.
Yeah.
Let's just say the fact. Well, Real Madrid got back to winning ways after losing to Alves last weekend. The previous weekend, they beat Sevilla, a much more difficult opponent, by 1-0. So can we say Zinedine Zidane should now relax, because I think he's gotten the demon of those funny defeats out of the way with this win, and we're going to see them beginning to break up the results from now onwards.
I think we are going to see them begin to, get some results, from now on, even with the fact that they have one or two issues. But I think this time around we should see, more of them in winning ways.
Yes, indeed. Those are the two major results. Atletico Madrid beat Real Valladolid by 2-0 to stay in the top alongside Real Sociedad, while Atletico Bilbao losing at home to Celta Vigo by 2-0. Levante thrashed Getafe by 3-0. Villarreal surprisingly were held at home by Elche to a 0-0 draw. Sasuna were beaten by Real Betis by 2-0, while Granada and Huesca played out a free draw. So that's much we can take from La Liga. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll be talking boxing. Anthony Joshua is saying something that is very interesting this morning. Said he's willing to take a pay cut to fight Tyson Fury in UK. Talk about that after this break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on, Anthony Joshua is talking this morning about taking a pay cut. If it means taking a pay cut, he's ready to do that to get to fight Tyson Fury in the UK. Austin, we know that he has a fight against Kubrat Pulev just this next weekend, and this weekend rather, and he's already talking about the Tyson Fury fight, which we know the boxing world is waiting for.
Yeah.
But then, is this not a distraction already?
I think so. Even when I saw that, that was what came to my mind. Why is he talking about Tyson Fury now when you have a match at hand that is very close? As a matter of fact, they are fighting on the 12th this weekend. So why not focus on this one first? Try to win, and after that you can start talking about Tyson Fury, because this one is as important as the Tyson Fury match that he's talking about. Because if he lose this match, if he should lose against Pulev, I think he's going to lose all belts. And at that point in time, the whole narrative will change. That's when they will now start talking about he'll have to go for a rematch against Pulev. So at this point in time, finish with Pulev, and then you can now start talking about Tyson Fury. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to disrespect Pulev.
Fine.
I don't get it.
We know history is abound with cases like this. The most common one is the Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, where Tyson was actually looking ahead to fight Evander Holyfield. The big one, the Evander Holyfield Tyson fight was going to be the biggest thing in boxing at that time. But he had a fight against James Buster Douglas, and he underrated him, and Buster Douglas knocked him out. And that was the beginning of the end of Mike Tyson, because he never bounced back. Though he came back, but then he was no longer the Iron Mike Tyson, the Invincible Mike Tyson that we used to know. This time around, Anthony Joshua actually should be very careful. Kubrat Pulev is not easy opponent. He has paid his dues, and his records are there to show. But then, let's assume that Anthony Joshua is able to get over Kubrat Pulev, and the stage is now set to fight Tyson Fury. What's the attraction with the UK? The possibility of this fight happening in the Middle East, where they will offer more money, is there, because these days everybody wants to attract the best fighters. Like, he went to Saudi Arabia to fight Ruiz in order to regain his belt, and he got more money from fighting in that country. But now he's talking about willing to fight for lesser pay in the UK. What's the attraction of fighting? We know he represents the UK, he's Nigerian, but represents the UK. That's Fury is from UK. So what's the attraction? Why would he be ready to take that step, not to have a fight in the UK? Does he feel more comfortable that fight in the UK will give him an opportunity of winning, or there's more to it?
I think there's more to it, because especially with the fact that Anthony Joshua is an heavyweight, he has lots of world titles. Another reason it could be that there might be a cut, or another reason could be that it's just this
more comfortable.
Yeah, they might
in the UK.
Yeah, the fact that these fighters just can't wait, for their expected time of fight. They probably want to, should I use the word show off, to the media and the rest. Yes.
So that there will be more glamour in the UK.
Exactly.
If it takes place in the UK. But then, boxing fight, once it's boxing for heavyweight bout, anywhere in the world it goes.
Yeah.
The most famous boxing fight in history that we talk about, Rumble in the Jungle, was fought in Africa, in Zaire,
Yeah.
when Muhammad Ali knocked out George Foreman in 1974. So that's, people still refer to that fight till today as one of the best fights. It was because of the build-up, the frenzy around it. Then we have Mobutu Sese Seko as the leader of Zaire, and pumped a lot of money into it, and so wherever any fight takes place, you're sure to have this frenzy.
Yeah.
But then, like Blessing pointed out, probably just wants it to be, since both of them are British boxers, they just want it to be purely British.
Yeah.
Well, if he has to fight Tyson Fury has to come to the ring, and that's why he said he was mistaking a pay cut. But then, is the motivation of boxers actually have to do with the pay, or pure interest in? We've heard sportsmen talking about talent and interest in the game and stuff, but at the end of the day, does money really come first?
At times, money comes first, but it depends on the personality. Now, there are some people who will go extra mile for the money. while some would prefer to take a pay cut. Let's say, for example, I'll chip in a football transfer here, where Thiago Alcantara was having it all at Bayern. Like, he has seen it all, he has won all, you know, as far as football is concerned. But then he was not satisfied. He had to go to Liverpool. Now, in coming to Liverpool, he had to take a pay cut. So this is what we are talking about. It depends on the personality. Some would go for the money, while some would prefer, you know, maybe a new challenge, or would prefer a place where they are comfortable, where they feel at home, to just do whatever they want to do.
Yes, indeed. We wish him good luck, but I hope he takes our advice that he should concentrate on the fight this weekend against Kubrat Pulev, because we don't want a repeat of the Iron Mike Tyson, James Buster Douglas episode of the 90s. Well, moving on the program, we shall be talking Formula One, and for the first time, a Formula One Grand Prix was held in the Sakhir in the Bahrain, and the winner was not Lewis Hamilton, and it was because he didn't compete. Probably if he had competed, he would have won. That's a story for another day. The winner this time was Sergio Perez, and he won ahead of Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton's team, Mercedes, actually was not in the podium. They were not among the first three. So this is one of the few races that we didn't have a first or a second or a third place for Mercedes, and it was due to some technical issues that they encountered. Well, blessing, George Russell took the place of Lewis Hamilton in this race, and he was leading. Then, for reasons best known to Mercedes team, they didn't have to go through the usual process of changing tires. They had what we call a late race safety car, whatever that means. I don't know, those are technical terms in Formula One. But it wasn't the usual way of changing tires. And they had issues because they put the wrong tires for him. And at some point, he had to even stop to change to the new tires. And that gave advantage to Sergio Perez. Is it that Mercedes team, they've already won the championship, we know. So this race for them was just a formality. Was that the case we experienced in Sakhir at the weekend?
If you ask me, I would say it's a formality in another aspect. But the thing is, everybody looked out. We're all looking out for Russell, but at the same time, he didn't make it because of one issue.
He was actually justifying his inclusion because he was actually leading at some point, but it was some technical issues that, for reasons best known to the Mercedes management. Again, in Formula One, we understand that and Michael Schumacher, the son of Michael Schumacher, will be competing in Formula One next year. He has been in Formula 2. You know, we have Division 1, Division 2. Yeah. So he has won Division 1, Division 2 has been promoted. So, but this time they don't promote things in Formula 1. You get contracted. Because of his performance in Formula 2, where he won the Formula 2. So he is the Lewis Hamilton of Formula 2. So he has now been contracted by AS team to compete for them. In fact, AS has contracting two drivers from Formula 2. Himself and Nikita Mazepin, the Russian, will be the two drivers that AS will be parading next season. So another Schumacher in Formula 1. What does this hold for the sport?
I think it's a good one. I would say it runs in the blood, it runs in the family. Maybe his motivation is from the father. You know, the way he's going, I believe he can do something with this Haas team. And one thing I observe about the Haas team is like they are actually determined to do something different this time, you know, going for the younger drivers.
It's an American team. So when the Americans take something serious, you better sit down and listen and watch.
Yeah, so I think it's a good move for both Haas and Nick at this point in time, because Haas at this point, I believe they have something up their sleeve, and let's just watch out for
in terms of general global outlook for Formula One. Having another Michael Schumacher, are we sure? Are we going to see this translate in terms of more revenue because of endorsement? Because the name Schumacher sells. So the fact that there's going to be a Schumacher, there's going to be a Lewis Hamilton, that rivalry will definitely generate a lot of interest. Are we going to see that positively affecting Formula One next year?
Of course, it's going to positively affect Formula One. The fact that when it comes to the financial aspect, it's going to in fact expand, from presently where it is right now, because the name is already there and the brand is already made. So there's every tendency that it will expand.
Yes, indeed. We wish Michael Schumacher well in Formula One. We hope that he goes on to be a great Formula One driver like his father, Michael Schumacher. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll serve you Super Eagles Watch for today. Still the Grand Sports Center, and we'll go straight to Super Eagles Watch, where we'll keep you posted. Performance of Super Eagles players for their clubs over the weekend. And interestingly, we are starting from the Spanish second division. We call it the Spanish Segunda, where Sadiq Umar, remember Sadiq Umar, who was the Olympic team in 2016 Olympics, where he scored 4 goals for the Dream Team, and he transferred from Partizan Belgrade to Almeria in the summer, and he scored 4 goals so far. Last weekend he scored the winner as they beat Alcoron 1-0. He actually came in the 57th minute, and 2 minutes later, after coming in, he fired in the winner, scored in that match. 23-year-old that scored 4 goals, like I said earlier, in 14 league appearances for Almeria this season. Then the biggest Nigerian player in the news in Europe at the moment is no other than Paul Onuachu. You can like him, you can hate him because he's not firing for the Super Eagles, but then what you cannot take away from him is that he is the top scoring Nigerian player in Europe. Not just Nigerian player, the top scoring player in all the top leagues in Europe at the moment. He has scored more goals than Lewandowski. Lewandowski has scored 12 for Bayern Munich. He has scored more goals than Calvert-Lewin, who has scored 11 for Everton, who is topping the English top scorers chart. So he has scored more than Kylian Mbappe, who has scored 10 goals for PSG, who is topping the League One scorers chart. He has scored 14 goals in 14 matches for Genk this season. So you can't take it away from Paul Onuachu that he scored. He scored a brace at the weekend again. This is the third time he's scoring 2 goals in a match for Genk this season, as they beat Royal Antwerp by 4 goals to 2. Interestingly, Siri Dressers, the other Nigerian in the teams, came in for Onuachu, replaced Onuachu. Then he scored his own goal 2 minutes from time. So 2 Nigerian players were on target. Of the 4 goals scored by Genk, 3 were scored by Nigerians, 2 by Paul Onuachu and 1 by Siri Dressers. Also in Belgium, David Okereke was among the goals for Club Brugge as they beat St. Trude 1 goal to 0. He actually replaced the other Nigerian in the team, Emmanuel Dennis. He came in and scored his 2nd goal of the season for Club Brugge. Also in Belgium, we have Ike Ugbo, the player who plays for Cercle Brugge. He is on loan from Chelsea. He scored over the weekend for Cercle Brugge as they beat OUD Avale by 1 goal. They lost by 2 goals to 1 actually. So he scored the consolation goal in the 90th minute of that match. In Romania, former Super Eagles defender, well, he's a former, but then he can still be invited. It's not over yet for him. Godfrey Barbona scored for his side, Dinamo Batumi, as they won 2-1 against Torpedo Kutaisi. So if we still need more defenders in Super Eagles, Barbona is doing very well. He was part of the team that won the Nations Cup in 2013. So he's a very, very good player. Maybe Kenatra should be looking in his direction. He's putting his game back in order. Also, Super Eagles, talking about defenders, another Nigerian defender, this time Seydou Sanusi, scored for FC Porto in what can be termed a 7-goal thriller against Tondela, CD Tondela. That match, Porto won by 4 goals to 3, and he scored the first goal for Porto in that match. So he scored in the Champions League against Marseille for Porto, and also in the league last weekend he has scored. So Stadium Sanusi is actually doing very well for FC Porto. Taiwo Awoniyi scored for Union Berlin on Friday evening when they played against Hertha Berlin, the battle of two Berlin teams. But Hertha won by 3-1, so Taiwo Awoniyi scored the consolation goal. Not the consolation goal because they actually scored first in that match, but then Hertha came back to win by 3-1. It was Awoniyi's second goal of the season. So that's about much on Super Eagles Watch, and we'll take today's sports history now as we gradually wrap it up on the program today. I'm Blessing Bassi.
Thank you for having me too.
I am Donald Abababo on behalf of all of us here and the entire production crew. Enjoy the rest of the day.